Hello. Welcome back again to our world. Today, we have been talking about marriage. Today's topic will be focusing on gender, understanding gender differences and bridging gender gaps. I believe that this topic is one of the most important topics I'll be discussing about because it lays the foundation and provides the framework for which we'll be able to build better relationships, a better understanding of the opposite gender, and equally a better understanding of ourselves. Now, First Peter 3, verse 7, it, God, now I'm going to read this for clarity's sake. First Peter 3, verse 7, the Bible says, "Likewise, ye husbands dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife, as unto the weaker vessel, and as being heirs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered." It's important to know here that God is urging, He's motivating, He's encouraging men to dwell with women according to understanding, according to knowledge, because women are emphatically complex beings. And God urges the husband to get to know his wife, to get to know her needs. And it stresses, it emphasizes the fact that the woman is the weaker vessel. Now, weakness here is not an intellectual weakness. It is not a physical weakness. The weakness here is talking about an emotional weakness. Women are emotionally weaker than men. And that's why the Bible says in Proverbs 24, 3, verse 2, it says, "By wisdom a house is built, by understanding its walls are raised, and by knowledge its rooms are filled with riches and good things." Therefore, we will need wisdom, understanding, and knowledge when it comes to building families, when it comes to building relationships with the opposite gender. It's important to note here that when God created Adam in Genesis chapter 3, God tells Adam, in Genesis chapter 3, God tells Adam, you will be put to till the ground. And he tells Eve that you will be charged with childbirth and raising children. It's important to note here that when God puts Adam in the field, God puts every resource and everything that Adam needs to fulfill his assignment and to fulfill his role as a husband to Eve. And equally, when God tells Eve that she will be in charge of nurturing or raising children or bringing forth children, God equally puts all the resources. He puts the everything that is needed to fulfill that assignment in Eve. Harmony is put together. Harmony comes together when everybody understands who they are, understands their roles, and understands how to relate to the other person. And harmony is needed to have a blissful relationship. Now, science says that men need 10 times more testosterone than women, and women need 10 times more estrogen than men. In other words, men and women both have testosterone and estrogen, but the men need it in a higher dose, testosterone, and the women need estrogen in a higher dose compared to men. Why? Because when they function with these appropriate balances of these hormones, they are functioning in their optimal prime levels. In other words, where there are imbalances in these hormones, these imbalances will bring stress. These imbalances will bring other negative connotations. But my emphasis today will be on stress. That when there is an imbalance in a man of testosterone and an imbalance in a woman of estrogen, stress will occur. Now, when God tells Adam to go to the workplace or go to till the ground, he puts testosterone in Adam. Now, what does testosterone do? Testosterone enables Adam to have an element of risk taking. Testosterone enables Adam to be competitive. Testosterone enables Adam to bear long hours of work. Testosterone enables Adam to find a sense of accomplishment, to find a sense of competence and capability, which is needed to boost his morale. Now, when God tells Eve to be the nurturer of life and to bring forth children, he puts in Eve oestrogen. Now, oestrogen enables Eve to bond with her children. Oestrogen enables Eve to be content in a role that does not bring remuneration. In other words, it does not provide a paycheck. Oestrogen enables her to continuously be able to go through the difficulties of bearing children and raising them up, but with content. Because you see, the driving factors and the differences between these different roles was that Adam's role got a paycheck, it got remuneration, it got a reward. Eve's role, her reward was the satisfaction she got from bringing forth children. It was the satisfaction she got from nurturing life and keeping home. And these fundamental differences remain with Adam, which is the male gender, and Eve, the female gender, till today. Women need oestrogen, a higher level of oestrogen, to function at optimal prime levels. Men need a higher form of testosterone to function at optimal prime levels. Therefore, when a man is flowing in his masculine energy, he is flowing at his best. He's functioning at his best. When a woman is flowing in abundance of feminine energy, she is functioning at her best, at her optimal prime. Now, what are the things that boost testosterone? What are the things that make a man feel accomplished? What is the components that the fragments and the details that cause a man to feel fulfilled? A man testosterone is boosted when he feels accomplished, when he feels competent, when he feels satisfied with his job, he feels successful with his career, when he is appreciated, when he is shown gratitude, when he is shown a sense of awness, a sense of wonder, a sense of you're the hero, you are the man of the day, you did this. A man's testosterone is boosted when he is praised, when he is solving problems, when he is acknowledged, and when he is needed. When he is respected, he is flowing in his highest level of testosterone. A woman equally flows in a higher level of estrogen when she is cherished, when she is appreciated, not so much. And not that appreciation is not needed, but cherished, provided, taken care of, acknowledged, heard, listened to, respected. Now, respect for a man is different from respect for a woman. For when a man feels respected, when he's appreciated, when he's acknowledged, when he's shown gratitude, when he is praised, when he is spoken highly of, he feels respected when he is needed. Now, a woman feels respected when she is spoken kindly to, when the tone of voice used to address her is considered. She feels respected when she is cherished. She feels respected when she is helped, when she is provided for. A woman feels respected. So even though the Bible says, men, love your wives, women, respect your husbands, it's interesting to note that when the Bible says in 1 Peter 3:7 that men should honor their wives, the word honor there equally means respect. It equally means esteem. Therefore, both genders are worthy of respect, but respect is in a different connotation for the different genders. Now, it's important to note that after that, historically speaking, the society offered a foundation for which men and women thrived. Historically, when the society was patriarchal at its best, when the patriarchy simply means the rule of the father, the rule of the father, patriarchy. So when society was fundamentally patriarchal, men functioned at their optimal levels and women functioned at their optimal levels. Let me explain. In the days of patriarchy, men found that they needed to be responsible or respectful of women. Now, with this respect came a what you'd call chivalry, a chivalry, a way that women were treated or considered or looked upon in a chivalrous manner. What is chivalry? Chivalry would denote men open doors for women, not because they could not open the doors for themselves. Chivalry denoted a man would pick up a woman's handkerchief, not because she could not bend over to pick up the handkerchief herself. Chivalry demanded that he got up and gave the woman a seat, not because she could not stand up. Chivalry demanded that a man helped a woman put her coat on, not because she could not put on her coat for herself, but because when men functioned in chivalrous acts, they found that they fulfilled themselves. They felt needed. They solved a problem. It increased, boosted testosterone. They operated at their optimal prime. Women equally felt provided for. They felt helped. They felt seen. They felt respected. And this equally boosted estrogen and enabled women to function at their optimal prime. And I want to say equally, when men in the patriarchal society or during patriarchal times, men were responsible for going to work and bringing the paycheck, or they were responsible for going out to hunt and bring the game. And when they came back, they felt fulfilled. They felt fulfilled. Why? Because the ability to go to work fulfilled a man. It enabled him to function at his optimum best. It brought him peace. It reduced stress. Why? Because when he came home, he knew he had fulfilled an objective. He had solved a problem. He was able to go to a place where he could take risk. Remember, risk taking is a high element of testosterone. He felt he could be in a competitive environment. Competition in itself is a testosterone need. He felt that he could leave the nurturing environment of the home and be together with other men, and that in itself boosted testosterone. And when he came back, he was appreciated. Gratitude was shown. The woman honored him. The woman, they thanked him, they appreciated, they gave him the boost he needed to feel like a man, to feel his testosterone go up. They basically fed that need, that urge. They made him feel needed. They made him feel like the hero, the person who saved the day. And that in itself is a testosterone booster for men. And women felt helped. They felt provided for. They felt that their needs were met. They were able to stay at home and take care of their children and keep home. And that in itself was an estrogen booster, and it enabled women to function in their optimal prime levels. So the society, historical marriages and societies of old were a perfect foundation for men and women to thrive and to function at their best capacity. But now comes the decline of patriarchy, and now comes the increase of feminism, and now society has shifted in gender roles, and the gaps are getting wider and wider and wider. And the ability to bridge these gaps becomes now tricky, or rather very intentional. We need to be very intentional, very motivated, very aware that these gaps are getting bigger, and there is a need to bridge them and bring them in. Now, feminism started in 1848. Now, there are four waves of feminism. Today, I'll be talking about two because these are more necessary or integral to our discussion. In 1848, the first feministic movement starts in America. It involves Western women who are who rally together for the right to vote. Western middle class women rally together for the right to vote. Now, this was very instrumental in the abolitionist movement, because with the women's right to vote, women voted for the end of slavery. Now, that is not my key point today. I want to go straight for the second wave, the second feminist wave, which occurred in 1960. Now, why did this wave occur? Now, at the end of the Second World War in 1945, or during the Second World War, rather, men went to war. Countries rallied in all men that were able to hold or fire an arm to hold ammunition. So the young men, the old men were all rallied to war. This left vacancies and left positions open for women to fill in the industrial place, in the workplace, and in the factory. So women now left home, left children in the care of the elderly, and they moved into the work environment to fill these gaps that were left by the men who went to war. Now, the war ended and men came back, and there was an unrest because now women saw that they were capable of filling these positions. They saw that they were capable of the intellectual needs of the workplace. They saw that they were physically able to do these jobs, and now became a struggle and a power movement for the women. In 1960, the second feminist wave now brings in women of all nations. It had an international recognition because women of the nations began to rally. These women were women of all ages. They were women of all colors. The women of all classes. It breeded what you'd call a sisterhood, where women began to empathize with each other and began to promote and encourage each other and move each other to form rallies and to vocally dispute that they were able to go equally as men into the workplace. So this feminist movement, women began to fight for the right to go to work. They began to fight for the right to have equal pay with men. They began to fight for the right to leave, they fought against domesticated roles. They fought against the notion that they were meant only to be mothers and to be wives and to be domesticated maids or servants. Women fought for the right to control their own sexuality. They fought for the right for abortion. They fought for the right for the pill and all the other modes and all the other means to control, for birth control. They fought for the right for equality, and they saw gender as a social construct and sex as a biological construct. So here comes the second wave of the feminist movement. And with this ways, women were given the right. Women declared that they were equal in men in intellectual ability. They declared they were better than men in terms of moral code, that they approached problems with a holistic view that was better than their male counterparts. They said they were more democratic in their approach in the business place, and they were more empathetic. And with these arguments, women fought their way into the workplace. Now, with women being able to go to university and get a master's and a PhD, and they being able to hold jobs as CEOs and managers in firms and organizations and industries, there has been a kind of role reversal, in the sense that, now don't get me wrong, but the workplace was never created for the woman. The workplace was created for men, because in the workplace, men men functioned at their optimal prime levels. It was a place where testosterone could be boosted, and women gained function at their optimal prime levels at the home. And it's not because women cannot go to work. The difference is the benefit of women going to work is different from the benefit of men going to work. And we can argue all day that gender is a social construct and that people are conditioned to think the way they do. We can argue that sex is a biological construct and men can become women. We can argue all day long, but the fact is we cannot argue science, we cannot argue facts, we cannot argue that God created Adam and Eve differently and gave them gender roles differently, and they were most fulfilled when they functioned in these roles. They were more at peace. Stress levels were put at bay when they functioned in their appropriate roles. The workplace was never created for the woman. The 9-month maternity leave was imposed to allow women to be able to go to work and come out of work to nurture, because the workplace was a man's world. Now, I am not anti-feminist. In fact, I am pro-feminist, but I am aware of the challenges that feminism brings today in our modern day society. I am aware that we need to be intentional to bring ourselves back to the place of peace, back to the place of rest, and equally boost ourselves up to function at our optimal prime levels. I will be back because I have surpassed my time, but this is a topic I need to break down systematically so we understand that women going into the workplace has brought a lot of stress. Stress for a woman occurs when she is functioning more on her masculine side than her feminine side, and a workplace is a masculine dominated area. It's a place where she needs to be in her masculine to be able to achieve success at the same level or at same levels as a man, and that comes as at a cost, where her estrogen levels are going down, where she's feeling stressed, and there is so many factors to this. But I will have to come back. I am reading this book. It's a great book. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. Dr. John Gray, 30 years ago, broke down these differences and made it clear. And I'll be back to talk about some of these things and other things that I have been learning about gender roles, and bridging gender role gaps. Stay tuned, there is more.